Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to read an article again, and we're going to have a brief discussion afterwards about it. So here goes. In our frenetic, fragmented world, it's all too easy to lose our way. We become consumed by the daily deluge of emails, media inputs, and professional obligations that demand our attention. Immersed in our narrow roles and hyper specialized fields, we risk falling into a kind of myopic trance, our gaze focused laser like on the particulars directly in front of us, while the wider context and bigger picture scenario fades from view. However, living life this way on an unconscious autopilot, so to speak, reacting only to the latest stimuli or fire that needs extinguishing, is a diminished and balanced existence. We require an overarching philosophical framework or an orienting set of principles and a panoramic perspective to make sense of our journey and steer a purposeful course forward. Without this North Star vision to guide us, we are simply adrift on chopping seas of circumstance. Every field of human knowledge and endeavor has a tendency to become overly siloed and self-referential if not balanced by other frames of reference. We see this in areas as diverse as medicine, where the reductive clinical lens can fail to honor the human as an integrated part of the whole experience. We can see this in business, which can elevate profits as the sole metric of value to the detriment of the ethics. We see this definitely in politics, where partisan ideologies diverge from the ultimate aim of serving the public good. Even many spiritual paths get co-opted into narcissistic, disassociative, or airy-fairy realms. I've been there. In each domain, the passionate professionals and thought leaders can inadvertently lose sight of the fundamental philosophies, root metaphysics, and holistic perspectives that should underlie and inform all of our missions. They become so enmeshed in their specialized crafts that the bigger picture ramifications are completely obscured. The antidote, or one antidote, is to intentionally step back and cultivate a coherent, unified understanding that simultaneously holds the lofty visionary aspirations and the greedy granular realities of lived experience. We must become our own philosophers and metaphysicians in this sense. So the question is, what overarching principles, aims, and perspectives guide your actions? What ethical framework and anthropological view allows you to connect your daily efforts to a larger matrices of meaning and value? How does your career, your relationships, and life path fit into the big picture of your own personal cosmology? Those who take the time, and I mean it takes time, to grapple with such questions and articulate an integrated philosophical worldview will find they have crafted a true North Star for navigating life's inevitable cyclones and uncertainties. This self-authored cosmological vision becomes the steadying point of reference, the master compass that ensures we don't become too burdened or lose our way completely when thrust into turbulent silos and arenas. It provides the unifying context that saves one from philosophically splintering off into 1,000 fragmented subspecialties. Additionally, developing your own unified theory of reality allows you to avoid the pitfalls of literalism, dogmatism, or blind adherence to any one rigid ideology or belief system. You remain creatively flexible and open to other perspectives while retaining an integrated core philosophy as your anchor. The path to living with purpose, authenticity, and wholeness begins when we truly commit to doing this interior work of yoking your deepest principles to your daily existence. Only with this holistic, overarching vision to orient yourself can you truly appreciate the magic of life. Okay, so I have myself been grappling for many years with a true sense of doing my own inner work and reflection and really examining my own inner architecture, so to speak, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And I share this throughout my entire journey of having this channel. I share it within the realm and framework of my work with Awakening Healthcare. That comes from my lived experience as a very sick autoimmune patient that had multiple organ transplants. I've had these views and perspectives from multiple powerful realms of existence that many people live in solely for their entire life. Okay. So it's provided me, my life's journey and my experiences have provided me opportunities to get pulled out of one realm and fully envelop myself into another realm. And I have somehow throughout my journey understood how much perspective I lose in the overarching narrative of my story, of my life, when I get too siloed in one of these belief systems. So, just a little bit of context. Very much of my life and my career early on, I was a yoga educator. It encompassed quite a detailed view and lens of the tradition of yoga. I had some very good teachers. Okay, this wasn't just a fly by night weekend training. I really had some profound experiences and trainings with teachers who actually brought yoga philosophy to America. It was a lineage style of teaching that I had. So this was a worldview that I connected to. It was an ideology that I believed in, but it was really devoid of a lot of Western culture. And having my illness experience threw me into another framework, another realm of existence that was really quite devoid of that which I was trained in. So, depending on where you're at, just you can kind of use this narrative of like the East and the West, and how the philosophies tend to have this polarity in a way. Although some of the underlying core messages are similar, there tends to be this polarity. So, for instance, if you were a traditional businessman in America or a medical provider, right? Like I was speaking of, imagine just all of a sudden being thrown into the East and kind of like Doctor Strange, right? When he is very sick and he ends up over in the East and having a hard time grappling with understanding his worldview could be limited because he was such an expert in his field, right? Or vice versa. It's just like really traversing another realm when you are certain about where you are in your life's journey. So reading what I just did in this article today and just me sharing my experience is affirmation that us doing this inner work, this interior architecture, landscaping, reflection work is really important and critical, I think, for the time that we live in, because there is so much divide and conquer mentality. There's war, there's division. Communication is hard unless it's in your siloed group. And even now, which is beautiful and complicated, is that your siloed group isn't safe either, right? We used to have this safety net around the realm that we existed in, right? So for instance, doctors may have issues with other doctors, but overarchingly, they're going to protect each other within the field. But now you're seeing the energy is moving closer and closer and closer to the self. So that means that those who felt safe within our realm of existence aren't as safe anymore. We're starting to whistleblow, so to speak, those within our own realm to try to get closer to the self-reflection work that truly needs to be done, right? So you can't run from yourself eventually, right? It doesn't matter if you're a double PhD, if you're, the creator of something, like you can be the top of your field. You can be the lowest of your field. It's now time to understand that the ideology that you hold firm to may be limited. Okay. And if we want to communicate and evolve towards a healthier planet culture, which I'm hoping if you're watching this, that's what your desire is, we need to learn how to do some inner work to be able to communicate and understand others better. We can't diminish others because they don't speak our same language. And we can't automatically hold a hierarchical view if somebody isn't as much of an expert in our field that we are. We can't, again, the healthcare thing is something I'm passionate about because that's my personal lived experience. Because we're the expert in the organ system that we're treating a patient in, we can't diminish the patient's experience, lived experience. Like this hierarchy of expertise we have to break that down, right? You have to be able to hold your expertise, but still really truly value and empower the voice of that which you claim to serve. If we're losing that, then we've become completely myopic. And again, that's what it feels like to me a lot in what I'm looking and seeing in the public. And again, I'm limited too in my own vision. I can't see everything, right? So is what we see is the realm of existence that we've lived in is now coming in on its own, so to speak. Like you can see this play out in the medical field really clearly right now with the ramifications of circumstances with the COVID vaccine for people who claim they were injured, and then the medical system is doubling down on the safety, and it looks really ridiculous at this point, right? It looks very immature, it looks very, very naive, and everybody's looking bad, right? The authorities are looking bad that they can't hold this paradox of understanding that maybe something is helpful for some and harmful for the others. Like they just can't, science can't hold that paradox because it's not objective, right? Like if it's objective and we're doing science right, it should lead towards something that looks like truth, right? And that's what we're finding is not necessarily, that's breaking down in essence. So yeah, just something to think about. Something that's helped me so profoundly is getting my head out of my own, and realizing that my way is not the way, and being open to conversation with other people, especially those that triggered me. That's like number one, first and foremost. If someone or a realm or a belief system really triggers you and you find yourself judging, again, you're defending your belief system and you think that you're right, but from the public lens now, especially if you're sharing, like X, Twitter is like infamous for this. If you're sharing and you're judging, you look a little slow. It doesn't matter what title you have. People see that you can't hold paradox, and that in that judgment is profound naivety that you can't see. And only those who are on your side, in your team, can proselytize your message, and you guys can all lift yourselves up. So we need to emotionally become literate, and we need to move. We need to evolve towards a philosophical, broader view where we can hold paradox and we understand the interconnectedness of and importance of science, philosophy, creative arts, all of these things, that they're all of equal value. They're all of equal value. And, the underlying thread that's sometimes missing in all of that, the true beauty and the balance actually isn't from just constantly externalizing that which you need, but kind of stopping and really analyzing yourself and doing the inner architecture, so to speak, and the reflection of recognizing the true beauty of process and integration and broadening your perspective of what's possible. Thanks for your time and attention. Have a nice day.